And we're live. What's up, YouTube? What's up, people of the world? My name's Alex. Shortly, later on in this channel, I'll be joined by another guy named Chris. And together, we, as Fuzzy Cousin, are going to bring you as much game content as we possibly can from all of the new games that we're going to play. Today, if you like Total War Warhammer, just came out today, because today is the 24th as I'm recording this video. You're lucky because you're first. You get to be the first game that we play on this channel. Brand new channel, brand new life, brand new everything. First time through, so if there's anything you guys don't like, whether it be the video placement or the audio is kind of weird, the game volume's not loud enough or whatever it is, make sure you leave a comment below and like the video. Liking the video just knows that lets me know that you enjoy the video and you want more content for all these new games that are going to be coming out. Halo Wars 2 is going to come out this fall. Super excited for that. Also, Total War Warhammer, as you see on screen right now, is going to be the first thing that we're going to be playing through. So if there's any game that you would like to see covered, whether it's, I'm not sure if I want to buy the game, so I want to see someone else play the game, or I want to see someone's knowledge after they look it up, but I don't want to do the research, whatever it is, comment below. Make sure you leave a like. All that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel. Help us grow. Maybe you'll be the first subscriber. Maybe you'll be the 100th subscriber. Who knows? And as we get bigger, hopefully we get bigger, giveaways, all that kind of stuff, it's all going to be in the works, guys. We just need your help to help us grow. So just leaving a like, subscribing, commenting below on anything that you want. I don't even care. We're going to make a community. Not just a community. We're going to make a family. A cousin family. Yeah. It works. We're all kind of related in some weird, thought-out family tree way anyways, right? I don't know. But without further ado, let's get into this game. For right now, I'm just going to go through all of the factions, what I think of the factions, their strengths, their weaknesses. Maybe, again, I've only played like 5 hours of this game, which is barely even kind of scratching the surface of this game. There's going to be tons of content on our channel about this game because it is the first new game that we are going to do. There's obviously 5 factions. You have the Empire, the Dwarves, the Greenskins, the Vampire Counts, and if you get the game within the first week, you get the Warriors of Chaos. And they are a very interesting, very weird, but super exciting unit or faction that I think a lot of people are going to be really interested in once they learn a little bit more about them. So let's just get into the different factions and what they are. So starting first here with the Empire. The Empire is going to be the humans in this game. It's going to be most like all the other Total War games. If you played Total War Rome 2, which I played many hours that I may not want to actually say out loud, but many hours. They're going to be the most common to what Total War normally is, which is an RTS game, which is real-time strategy, but it's a turn-based game. So all the factions are going to be turn-based, RTS, all that stuff. But Empire is going to feel most like what, if you've ever played any game before that's Total War, it's going to feel the most natural, the most what you're used to. They have the building slots on all the buildings, so that way when you capture a settlement, you can build different buildings to get income, to get units recruited, all that kind of stuff. And then you also have all the different types of units. You have ranged units, you have melee units, you have cavalry, you have artillery, just standard what everybody knows to be Total War in every aspect. And Total War, if anybody doesn't know, as soon as you get started in the game, you're going to be playing for a long time, because this game is the bee's knees. Let me just look at some of the notes I have here for the Empire. So the Empire, their biggest units that they have, as you see the top unit right here in this box right here, you have Luminarch, which is a magical chariot, big in the... Oh, I mean, it's like the chariots of the other games. So it's kind of like cavalry, where you have the big charge bonuses. Couldn't think of a word for some reason. Not really a big charge bonus on that one. But the great thing that you can tell about each of these units, now that Total War has done this, is that all the green arrows are what they're good against, and the red arrows are what they're not good at, so the pros and cons are kind of listed there. So the green in this one, you have a magical aura of some kind, so it gives off an aura to help your units, not hurt your units or hurt enemy units. It's going to be helping your units. And sometimes Bolt of Illumination, I assume that's some kind of spell. I'm gonna assume a low rate of fire though, so it doesn't shoot a lot. It's just gonna shoot once every now and then, and does a lot of damage. As you can see, missile damage is 1050. Lord have mercy. And then the range is 300. That's also a very, very large range. It doesn't have a large charge bonus because, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, it's not a chariot. It's more like a giant artillery piece. I don't know. I read the word chariot and I was like, oh yeah, chariot. No, it's not a chariot. What am I talking about? It's like more like a giant sniper rifle, if you want to think of it that way. Going over to the Demigryph Knights. These are the cavalry. Stupid Alex. These are the cavalry. As you can see, excuse me, their charge bonus is 60, much better than the 18 from the other one, right? Their charge bonus is 60. They have a lot of armor, and they're shielded. Armor piercing as well, so they can go up against armored units, big heavy infantry like that, anti-infantry as well. So what you're going to want to do with the Demigryph Knights, these are your biggest sources of what they call hammer and anvil, where you have one unit fighting another unit, and then you come around the other side with these horse units, and used hammer and anvil against the back of the other unit that you're attacking. That way you get morale penalties for the enemy units, so that way they'll break quicker, and you can just easily win the battles. But you can't leave them there all the time, because then they're going to get absolutely destroyed no matter what unit they're facing, because that's not what cavalry is about. The cavalry is about going in really quick, taking out the units, and then leaving. Just kind of a hit and run kind of thing. So Demigryph Knights, if you see those on the field, if you're playing with them, great job. Make sure you're using those to the best of their ability. If you're playing against them, keep your eye out, because those can really turn the tide of a battle. And the steam tank. If you've watched any Total War advertisement ever, they show the steam tank. It's armored piercing, causes terror, and unbreakable. So unbreakable just means that it's not going to break from morale penalties. Causes terror, so when it shows up, it shows a morale penalty on the enemy units. Armor piercing, great against armored units or big units. In this game you have like monsters and stuff like that have crazy amounts of armor, or just infantry in general that has a lot of armor. So this is armor piercing, this is going to be good against that. And it's armored itself, so it has a lot of... Excuse me again, wow. It also has a lot of armor itself, so it'll take more than a few hits. So those are the top units that Total War kind of suggests. Also on my notes over here, other things are a Celestial Wizard, who's going to be casting magic along with the Warrior Priest, who is going to be more of a fighting wizard, like more kind of combat wizard, my guess would be. What else do I have here? A very wide variety of units. If you don't like one unit, that's fine. You got about 30 others to choose from, it seems like. Lots of artillery. You got different types of vehicles, including the steam tank and the giant sniper rifle of Luminarch here. What else do I got? That's about it as far as the Empire is going to go. The Empire is going to play style wise, they're going to play just like all the other Total War games, where you're going to want to have an even amount kind of different types of units. So you're going to want to have your infantry, your anti-infantry, ranged units, and any shock units like shock cavalry. Just kind of bunch them all together in one. Sometimes the ratio is going to be a little different depending on who you're fighting against, such as the vampire counts you're going to want to play differently as if you're fighting the Dwarves, for instance. We'll get into the other factions here in a second. But I think after playing through a little bit of the Empire campaign, I've noticed that you kind of want to use all pieces of your puzzle together as one big force, as opposed to breaking off into smaller parts and trying to take small skirmishes. You can just take big battle line, shove it straight to the enemy, and as long as you have your battle line set up properly, then you should be able to at least fare a good fight if you have good enough units versus their units. But I think that's all I can think about for the Empire. So now we go on to the Dwarves. The Dwarves I'm kind of interested in playing myself. I'm going to be playing the Warriors of Chaos and the Dwarves in my playthrough, and Chris is going to play probably the Empire and the Vampire Counts, because he texted me earlier and he said that he was interested in playing those. So that leaves the Greenskins out, so we might do a multiplayer campaign as Greenskins to make sure we hit all kind of the factions at one point in time on the channel. But on to the Dwarves. The Dwarves are going to be more of a artillery-focused, ranged-focused faction from what I've tried and read, that you're going to want to use your artillery pieces and gyrocopters, your heavy artillery, kind of, they're flying war machines as it says here, to overtake your entire enemy. So your units are tanky, like your swordsmen, your basic sword infantry unit, they're tanky, but they don't do a lot of damage. They're just good at kind of holding the line. So you don't want to just completely, I'm going to put in 19 sword units and I'm going to go shove down all of the Empire. It's not going to work. At least not well. It'll work for a little bit, depending on if you're going 19 versus 2. But in the way the Dwarves are supposed to be played, you need to have more of a solid front line backed up by a lot of ranged units, artillery, gyro bombers, and combining all of that to try to win your battle, as opposed to, like I said, or like with the Empire. With the Empire, you could almost get away with a few ranged units and then a bunch of infantry. Whereas here, you're going to want to have a decent amount of infantry, but a lot of everything else. You're going to have a lot of your flying units, you're going to have a lot of your anti-infantry units, you're going to have a lot of artillery pieces, and just use your frontline infantry to kind of protect those units as the enemy comes towards you. So I'm thinking the way the Dwarves are going to play is not going to be very offensive. They're not going to be very strong offensively. I feel like they're going to be more of a defense. I feel if you're going to have to take a siege against the Dwarves, that's going to be tough. I feel like a siege is going to be just crazy hard against the Dwarves. Their big units here, you have the gyro bombers who are armored. They have armor-piercing missiles, and they're anti-infantry. So if you just have your front line sitting there battling out their front line, and you fly your gyro bombers over the top of them, and you just position your gyro bombers behind, so you get all the penalties from attacking the enemy from behind, and you can just shred the frontline infantry. What else do we have here? We have Slayers, anti-large, fast for a dwarf. Another thing I forgot to mention, dwarves are usually slow. All of them are slow. The speed's only 42 on this unit, and that's fast for a dwarf. So Slayers, as you can read here on screen, anti-large. Death Blow is a ability that they have, as well as Whirling Axe. They'll be activatable abilities. So if you're against monsters, or if you're against maybe even cavalry, I'm not exactly sure what counts as large, you should be able to take them down, at least monsters. I know monsters for sure, Slayers are just going to be crazy good against. You're going to want to have those whenever you see, like for the Chaos Warriors, they have this giant, literally just a giant person. You're going to want to have Slayers ready for that when you're fighting them. What else do we have here? Iron Drakes. Iron Drakes, they are an anti-infantry unit, as it says. They're armored, very tanky, like I said. But they're a flamethrower infantry, so you can just imagine setting these guys up on a hill. For any of you that saw Thunder Pass in the trailer, that's kind of the idea of how you want to use them. They didn't use them super well, but they used them at least how they're supposed to be used. So you position them on a higher ground, and you just mow down the front line that's coming at you with flamethrowers. I mean, does that not sound awesome? I think that sounds freaking awesome. To just sit there and have a row of I say giant, and they're really short, but fat dwarves with these cannons that just spew fire. That just sounds awesome to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's the pyromania inside of me coming out, but that's awesome. What else do I have here on my notes, separate from all of this? key units, yeah, that's kind of all. They also have a flame cannon, so it's like the Iron Drakes here, but they're an artillery piece that shoots fire. So that's going to be awesome as well to play with. I can't wait to just, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for my 2 playthroughs. It's ridiculous. What else about Dwarves? They also have the underground pathway, as it states over here in the faction mechanics, which is really interesting, where if you're against a piece of land that you can't normally pass through, and you're being cornered, you can actually dig underground and get out of that situation without having like the enemy coming to get you. So if you get cornered behind like the top of a mountain, you can use this underway and go to the bottom of the mountain on the other side, even if it wasn't normally passable terrain. Which I think that could be really cool and really helpful again in when someone's trying to take you over. If you like, okay, I need to get out of here, and this is my veteran units, and I don't want to lose all my veteran units because I'm getting attacked by 5 armies. You can use the underway, get them out safely. They take over the settlement that they were going for, or they just make more ground, and you can go and either recruit more units, make another army, whatever. It's just a really nice way of getting out of a situation, but you can be ambushed underground, which is interesting as well, by the Greenskins. The Greenskins also have the ability of using the underway. Anything else about the Dwarves? If there's any questions you guys have at all, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'm going to be reading all the comments on all the videos, I promise. Any questions, concerns, comments, ideas for the channel, anything like that, this first video, make sure you go down to those comment sections and comment away on your thoughts and what faction you're going to most look like you're going to try to play through. On to the Greenskins. Take my notes over the Greenskins. So the Greenskins are your famous orcs and goblins. The biggest thing about Greenskins is they have this thing called fightiness. And fightiness, as you can see over here, is the more that a unit fights, the more battles they have, the more settlements they conquer, raise, all that kind of stuff, they will get bonuses to their units. At a certain level, you hit what's called, as you can see right here, Wah! That wasn't that fun to say. I think that's fun to say. When you hit Wah, your fightiness will spawn an allied Wah army that can be sent against the enemy. So basically what happens, if you have a full bar of fightiness and you go into a battle, you'll also have spawn near you another unit of Greenskins that you didn't have to pay for or anything like that. They just showed up. And they want to fight too, because there's so much fighting, and everyone loves fighting, and Greenskins love fighting. Oh my god, fighting! I don't know. It's their thing. It's going to be cool. They can also use the underway. So, Greenskins versus Dwarves in the underway. That'd be kind of cool if you try to, like, burrow underneath the Greenskins, and the Greenskins are just like, nah man, I'm going to burrow too, and you just fight underground. That's cool. That's a really cool mechanic in the game. But the problem with the fightiness is also that if you have a low fightiness, basically the Greenskins fight each other within the army. So if you have a full stack of however many units you have inside that full stack, it's possible to face attrition by not having a fightiness. Well, it is attrition. And they just fight each other because they haven't been fighting anything else and they want to fight. So they just fight each other instead. That could be probably great and horrible at the same time, because if you have any units, any armies that are sitting back just kind of defending, if they don't fight anything, then they're going to start fighting themselves, and then your defenses are going to be weaker. So it'll be interesting to see how people conquer that element of the game and use it to their advantage, and how their enemies can use it to their advantage. Their top unit's a giant. It's a monster, large. So anything anti-large will be great against this giant. Armor piercing, anti-infantry, causes terror. I would imagine if some 15-foot guy with a, what is that, like a scythe, just like walks up to me and is just like, what up, bitch? Slaps a scythe next to me. Dude, I'm gonna be running in fear. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna break instantly. That's crazy. Anti-infantry, because obviously it's a person versus a giant person. The giant person's just gonna squish the. I mean, it's obvious, right? Armor piercing, because it's so big and it's got this scythe-looking thing, and it's just gonna do massive amounts of damage. Also has a lot of health. Also, what weapon strength 530. That's a lot of weapon strength. Holy crap. So, Giant, one of the top units. Then you have the Doom Diver Catapult. If you've been watching or keeping up to date with any of the Total War pre-released kind of things that Creative Assembly's been putting out, you have seen the Doom Diver Catapult before. It's one of the iconic things that you can take control of, shoot yourself out of, and you can just fly around like a bat basically, and then just slam into the ground. 400 range, controllable unit. Not much armor, not much leadership, not much speed, nothing but range. So this is going to be more kind of, I would think, more just kind of like a starting off a battle, kind of peppering the units a little bit to get a couple units down or weaker before they come and attack your forces. So Doom Diver Catapult, one of the top units in the Greenskins, and then the Spiders. These spiders, I don't know if you guys have seen these in-game, these things are scary looking. Like, holy crap, I'm surprised they don't have a terror feature on them. These things scare the crap out of me just looking at them. Giant freaking spiders, like, I know a lot of people don't like spiders, but a giant spider, like you can see right there in the background, like, holy crap. Poison attacks, that's going to do, I believe it is stamina damage or speed damage, as well as damaging a couple other things with a damage over time. Armor piercing, as well as armor themselves, so they're going to be hard to take down, and they're going to take down veteran units and other units that are armored, so heavy infantry and stuff like that, they'll punch right through it. Anything else? Trolls, they also have the ability to get trolls. They have large unit sizes, cheap upkeeps for the units, so the units don't cost much to keep from turn to turn. They have a lot of units. They also have a Night Goblin Shaman, which is just going to be another, it's kind of like the Celestial Wizard from the Empire. It's going to be their unit of a spellcaster kind of thing. Anything else? I'll get to this capturing territories belonging to what, I think that's a really, I don't know how I feel about that in the game. Orcs cannot trade as well, so you can't make money through that, and limited economic building. So basically you're going to get most of your income from raising and sacking settlements. I believe that's all I can think of for the Greenskins. I would also highly recommend reading all the lores and stuff like that, because it just gets you more immersed into the game, and why just play a game when you can understand every detail of the game? I just think it makes it a lot more fun. I personally am going to read every single thing that possibly comes up on screen if I can manage it. On to the vampire counts. Now the vampire counts are weird because they don't have any ranged units. No archers, no nothing. They have flying units, which are cool, by the way. Flying units and infantry. Now they have all of these monsters that you can use, like a like the Vargulf, which if anyone has been watching the Lionheart playthrough, he's just basically did a 2v1000 and won it with his Lord and a Vargulf. It was absolutely amazing to watch, just sitting there like nail biting the whole time. So this monster, when you start the playthrough, there's one of the lords lets you have one in your starting army. Keep that thing alive, because that thing will just shred through everything. It's amazing. You just have to watch the video. It was amazing to see him do it. It's very fast, armor piercing, regeneration. So if you pull him out of a battle and he's not fighting for a few seconds, he actually starts regenerating health, which is a new mechanic in the game. It's really cool. I'm kind of interested to see where that goes through. Just a button that doesn't do anything. Okay. Very, very hard to kill. Vargulfs are very hard to kill. So you're going to want to have a lot of anti-large. You're going to have a lot of anti-large to take down a Vargulf. If you're fighting a Vargulf, just make sure, if you're playing the Dwarves, for instance, like, bring those Slayers, man. You want to bring those Slayers to take down this Vargulf, because these things are nasty. Then you have the Terrorgeists, which are flying monsters. They're kind of like, if you've seen any of the play so far, they're like bats on steroids, basically is what they are. Again, there's a whole lore behind each of the units on the Total War Wiki, as well as some other places that I highly suggest reading and listening to, because they just make the game so much more fun when you understand what's happening and why it's happening. So these units are armored, armor-piercing, anti-large, so you could use these against like the giant from the Greenskins, or if you're fighting another vampire faction that has a Vargulf, you can use these flying monsters against it pretty well. Causes terror because people are scared of bats anyways, right? But, I mean, any unit that causes terror is good to have in an army. Even if it's just one of the unit, it's great, because it'll give the effect, and, I mean, anti-large is already good to have in your army anyways. And then the hex rates. These have a thing called ethereal, and I'm not exactly sure. Oh, here it is. Units absorb most damage by non-magic weapons. So, I mean, as you can read there, they're not slowed by any terrain-based movement penalties. That's nice to have, because whenever you're having to like run uphill, or you're trudging through water or anything like that, if your units can get slowed, it just makes the game more difficult, right? More realistic. But hex rates, they fuck that. I'm just gonna go straight for you, and I'm not gonna care about anything, and it ignores most damage by non-magic weapons. So these things against the Empire, these things can be nuts against the Empire. Empire basically can't touch them. That's ridiculous. They're their form of cavalry, as you can see at the top of that. Armor piercing, vanguard development, okay, so an expanded. So when you start the game or a battle, there's a yellow square and a red square on two sides of the map. The yellow square is where you can deploy. The red square is where the enemy deploys. But certain units in this game have an expanded deployment area, and they can deploy outside of that area. So you can place them basically anywhere on the map except like right on top of the red zone for the enemy. And you can get crazy good flanks off, hammer and anvil, all those different kind of strategies. You can get a whole bunch of those off with this, and it's going to be kind of cool, actually. I've seen Lionheart play. I mean, I love his channel. Shout out to that guy. Great channel. But you can make a lot of really strategic moves being able to place your units basically anywhere on the map. You can hide units in the trees. You can do all this. That's going to be cool. That's going to be really cool. Vampire Cat, like I said, they don't have any ranged units. So the thing that you need to use, like they have feral bats, which as you see on screen now, feral bats. What you're gonna use those basically to occupy the opponent's ranged units, or in a siege like the one you see there. In a siege, you're gonna want to use those to fly over and start all of the chaos within a siege, and then maybe climb the walls with your other units. But I don't know, Vampire, they're gonna be hard. Like, good luck to Chris on his playthrough for this, because I mean, it looks like it's gonna be a ton of fun, but I don't know how that's going to play through. Another huge thing I just thought of as I was sitting here reading my notes in the screen right in front of me. They have this crazy overpowered ability called Raise Dead. So in-game, I'm sorry, not in-game, but in a fight or a battle and outside of battle, you can raise units that died previously on a battlefield, or it can raise units that weren't even on the battlefield. So, for instance, you could fight with just zombies, feral bats, and skeleton warriors, fight a battle against the same exact army, but then when you raise the dead after the battle, you could get a Hex Wraith. A free Hex Wraith? Not free, but super cheap, and you didn't have to buy the technology for it? That's crazy! That's absolutely insane! And then, in a battle, you can raise the dead in a battle too. And it usually just spawns zombies, I believe, from the, I think, 45 minutes. I didn't play very much of the vampire counts because I was really thrown off with the whole not ranged unit things. I did not use the feral bats as they were supposed to be used in my quick try to learn some things about the factions. So you can raise the dead basically anywhere within a certain range. So you can have your front line fighting their front line, and then your lord can raise the dead spell behind the other line and get a full stack of zombies to attack the back of the other line, dropping the morale, all those different kind of penalties that you can get just for just Winds of Magic. So yes, you don't have ranged units, but I can raise the dead. I can get more units whenever I want. With on the I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna do Dwarves and Chaos, and he's gonna do Empire and the Empire and the Vampire. That's kind of weird to say. So it's gonna be, I don't know. I'm gonna be really interested to tune into how Chris says he likes to play this, because this is gonna be either super overpowered or a complete like face plant. Corruption, you can also go around and corrupt other areas when you're in enemy territory, and it hurts public order and will cause rebellions, which is always nice. So I believe that's everything that I have that I wanted to say. Other big units to watch out for are Grave Guard. They're a very heavy infantry unit. And Crypt Horrors, which are very fast units. They're kind of like, they remind me of like War Dogs from Rome 2, is what they remind me of. I believe that's basically the big things I saw from somebody else's playthrough and research I've done. Those are the big things about the vampire accounts. On to the Warriors of Chaos. Now, if you get the game, if you pre-order the game, or you get the game within the first week of release, you get the Warriors of Chaos package free. And you get to play as the Warriors of Chaos. Now, I'm super crazy excited to play as this, because this is a totally different feel than anything Total War has done, in my opinion. But a very strongly and accepted opinion from a lot of people. So the Chaos Warriors have no settlements. They have what's called hordes. And each horde is like a mobile settlement. So you have like building slots within the army. So you're gonna build like your barracks and stuff like that within the army, and you can move it around place to place. That's awesome and annoying, because if I get this crazy awesome veteran Chaos Warrior unit that has all of these different upgrades and building slots and all that stuff, and they die, I lose all of that. That's really big risk and reward. So do I like make an army to kind of trail my other armies that has all my technology research in it, and then just kind of trade units back and forth? Or do I keep all the stuff together in one army and just try to steamroll as many people as I can and build up another army of the same kind, so that way when that army dies, I have another army basically of similar stature. Like, I don't know. Like, it's going to be weird. It's going to be awesome. And you can't take over settlements. You can raise other settlements and get them to follow you, cause enough, like, corruption of chaos, and they'll fight under the chaos command, like, for you, but you can't control them. So, so I get all these people fighting for me, but I can't control them, and we all know how AI is at making decisions. Not good. No AI is ever good at making decisions until they completely destroy you and wreck you, and then you're like, why is the AI smart all of a sudden right now? Right? Oh my god. I hate when that happens. Where's my mouse? Right here. So each thing's called a horde, as a settlement or an army. You cause chaos, corruption, kind of like how the vampires caused corruption. The top units, Chaos Giant, kind of like the giant from the Greenskins, but chaotic, I guess. Causes terror, anti-infantry, armor piercing, all that good stuff. Lots of health, lots of leadership. Won't break probably, not very easily at least. Weapon strength 530. So basically it's just gonna run in, just plop its whatever weapon it's going to use. I'm not even sure. It looks like a club in that description right there. Just going to sit there and just whack. I'm alright with that. Big guy, 15 feet tall, just smacking people with stuff. And the units actually like fly around. It's pretty cool. The ragdoll effects in this game are pretty hilarious when you just see like units clashing, or the Demigryph Knights or something like that charge in, and you just see them like lance a unit, and the unit just like, whoo! It's great. It's absolutely hilarious. It's gonna be so much fun to watch. Next is the Hell Cannon, which I believe is actually the only. Let me say this. Yeah, the only artillery that they have, that the Chaos Warriors have, is the Hell Cannon. And because it's a top unit, I'm going to say you're going to want one of these basically in every army. Because not only are they, I mean, they're siege artillery. I guess they're probably only for sieges, but I don't know. Those, no, I know you, I'm like 95, 99% sure. Probably going to be wrong, and everyone's going to flame me in the comments, but whatever. That you can put one of these in your army, because these things are awesome. Unbreakable, always a great trait. Doomfire. Come on, work with me. Work with me. Here we go. Okay. Just makes the projectile more. Yeah, it makes a better projectile, basically. That's cool. Missile range. Oh, sorry, the range 420. Yep. Missile damage 493. That's quite a bit, as we all know. 493 is never a small number, especially when all the numbers around it can go down to 5. Yeah, 493. That's a lot. That's a lot. Doesn't have a lot of health though. It's got like 3,000. It's not a lot of health, so you kind of want to make sure you have maybe a unit back there to protect it, just in case. Like not a huge unit, but maybe like one infantry unit. Probably is what I'm gonna do. Or if I know that they're not gonna be attacked, then I'll just leave them be. And this last one, the Chosen, armor and shielded. So they're gonna be hard to take down. 115 armor. Holy crap! And they have more health than a Hell Cannon. Okay, that's interesting. So these guys are going to be badass. They're going to be hard to take down. They're going to do crap tons of damage. That's going to be awesome. But I think it's funny that their top unit's not the Chaos Warriors, because they are the Warriors of Chaos. I don't know. That's interesting. What else? Cannot trade. Economy is heavily reliant on sacking, raiding, battle loots. Right. So, since you don't have 50 settlements making income for you, you basically just have to go through and plow the shit out of everything. So, you go attack a settlement, raise the settlement, loot the settlement, and just get all of your income from that. So I think that's also going to make because you're going to run out of settlements sooner or later. So you're going to have to just, you're going to have to spend your money wisely. Interesting. I'm not sure how this is going to play through. Should be pretty fun though. It's going to be awesome. Like, look at, as you can see all this cinematic as it's going through, as I'm talking about all this stuff. That's awesome. Like, these units are going to look awesome. I know another strong unit that's not a top unit, but is a good one. Yeah, is the Dragon Ogres. The Dragon Ogres are basically like a Minotaur, but oh my gosh, how do I even explain it? But instead of like a horse and a man, it's a dragon, and basically like it looks like an orc, but I guess it's an ogre. It's a dragon ogre. Dumbass. But those things are also pretty awesome. They're going to be kind of the shock cavalry idea, I think, of the Chaos Warriors, where they're monstrous units, but you're not going to want to. You're going to want to use them more as hammer and anvil than you will. Maybe not. Maybe they're going to just be so badass you're just going to send them in there, and they're going to look like that, but tiny. Maybe you just send them in there and maybe they'll just do crap tons of damage. or maybe they go in and do a lot of initial damage, and then you pull them out. Probably, I don't know. They're going to be awesome, though. Also, if you're fighting against the Chaos Warriors, be mindful of the Chaos Dragon mount. So it's kind of the Chaos Warriors that are riding dragons, but I don't think they fly. Chaos Warriors, obviously, that's the name, so obviously they're going to be good. They also have their own chariots, and the Forsaken. The Forsaken are another infantry unit. They're red people, basically. So those are kind of the units to watch out for if you see an army and they have a full 20 stacks and they have a whole bunch of Forsaken and Dragon Ogres and the Chosen, Hell Cannon, and run away. Or get your best army and the next one to fight them, because it's gonna be a battle. I can already tell you that, because these units, first off, just look awesome. And like reading some of their stats, they're gonna be hard to take down. So if you have a Chaos Horde in your settlement or territory area, either take care of it quick or get the hell out, because that thing's gonna get you. It's gonna get you real good. Alright, so I believe that is as much as I can think of to talk about for the Chaos to get started with. Their playstyle in-game, probably going to be just overpower whatever they're fighting with the most firepower, and it's just surviving the battles, I think. That they're just going to out-survive everybody. They're going to be so tanky and so damage-dealing-y. That was dumb. That they're just going to overtake everybody. Like, their infantry is probably going to be better than most of the other infantries, except for maybe the Greenskins if they have a full wall. I'm not sure, though. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to be super excited to play the Dwarves and the Warriors of Chaos. Mostly the Dwarves, because I think not a lot of people like the Dwarves for some reason. A lot of people are like, oh, Empire, because it's just like everything else Total War's done. Like, alright, well, cool, let's be different. And, I don't know, the kind of playstyles I like to play are more not infantry focused, but more dwarven focused with the artillery and stuff like that. No cavalry, no magic, small unit sizes, yeah. Once you guys download the game, you can all read the lore and this kind of stuff again if you missed any of it, or if I'm not even talking about it for some reason. But any questions, make sure you guys put as well in the comments, like I had probably said like twice or so earlier. This being the first video, I gotta make sure I get everything on my mind about the channel and the game that I'm going to be playing as well. This channel is mostly going to be casual gaming, so we won't play these games on the hardest difficulties and go for 110% completion and stuff like that. We'll play as most of the game as we possibly can, and we probably will play them on like the average person's level. Probably play them on like normal and hard difficulty for this game. I'm going to start mine on normal just because I'm not sure how this game's going to play out, because I hear the sieges in this game are just rough. They're hard. So I might start them out on normal, and then once I get started and like, okay, yeah, no, this game's not as bad as I thought it was, then I'll bump it up to hard or very hard if I'm just crushing everything. But the point is to get the most content out that we can, so that everybody they can see as much of the game as they possibly can before they buy it, or if you've already bought it, see as much of the game as you can explore as you can. Maybe you explore more than we do. Who knows? So the last thing I want to talk about that I thought was really interesting is in the faction mechanics for all of the factions, except for Chaos Warriors because they're special, they have no settlements and they can't get settlements. But the Empire, the Dwarves, the Greenskins, and the Vampire Counts, you can't conquer the whole map. So Rome 2, which I'm going to be making most of the references to because that's where I played an ungodly amount of. In Rome 2, the idea was conquer the world. Take every settlement, take everything in your path, and make it, if you were playing the Romans, make it Roman control. But in this game, as you can read, the first thing on faction mechanics can only capture territories belonging to Vampire Counts or any other human factions except for Norska. Norska is probably going to be a town or a settlement, or maybe, I don't know. It will be interesting to see. But that means you can't conquer Greenskins. because they're not a human race. So when you're playing through, you can take all of the Empire, all of the Dwarves, and the Vampire counts, because it states Vampire counts, and then kill the Chaos Warriors, or keep them at least contained. So you can't take this Greenskin settlements. You can kill them. I mean, probably you're going to have to at some point. You're going to just basically wipe out the whole race of Greenskins. But everybody's limited in what they can take. So you can't just have 50 settlements maybe of what used to be Greenskin area. You can't just make that your income area, where it's super far away from everything. You've conquered all the land around it, and you want your income to come from that area because it's the most it's really protected from everything else around it. You can't do that because you can't you can't capture everything. So you can destroy it, but you can't take it over. So for the Dwarves, only the Greenskins and other dwarf factions. So you can't even capture Empire or Vampire counts. Like, that's... If you don't have the Warriors of Chaos as like a faction to play as, that's half the game. And there's only 4 factions in the game, and you can't capture the Empire or the Vampire counts territories. That's half the game. So Greenskins, Dwarfs and Greenskins, Vampire counts. So Norsca must be something special. I don't know what Norsca is off the top of my head. Actually, I don't know if I've ever learned what Norsca was. That's not important at the moment. But, like, vampires. Only other vampires and other human factions. So are dwarves humans? I would assume they are. They look pretty human to me. They're just short, fat humans with beards. If any of you are dwarves out there, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be, like, dogging you or anything. But are they humans? Do they fall under this category? I'm not sure. Tell me your guys' thoughts down in the comments, and what your first playthrough is going to be, and on what difficulty, and all the other things I've said to comment on down below. But if you like this video, guys, or you want to see more content for Total War Warhammer from any of the factions, make sure you leave a like, you subscribe, all that good stuff. My name's Alex, here with Fuzzy Cousin. I will see you again next time. Peace.